What's up, y'all? In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to create balance within your work life, your love life, your relationships, as well as even your physical side of things, man. When it comes to dieting, working out, all that stuff, we want to dive into what it takes to be balanced and at the same time content. We do believe that balance brings contentment. So if you're a person that's struggling with the idea of balancing your life and try to make time for everything that's important to you, we know this episode is going to bless you like crazy. So hold on for another episode of Knights of the Round Table. And welcome to another episode of Knights at the Round Table, virtual style. Tis your boy, MANWELL'S, and I got my queen to the left, Angela Johnson, Reyes. Hello. I got my boy, Be Real, across all the way in Van Nuys, California.
No, he's in Burbank. No, North Hollywood.
NoHo?
Yeah, I'm in NoHo, bro.
Dang, he's in NoHo. Y'all, we doing this virtually. We in Nashville. Keeping these things coming to y'all. I forgot to mention this at the other podcast, but I just wanted to shout out all the other episode, all the Patreon members. We love you guys. If you guys are not a Patreon member, we would love for you to think about joining. It's just a monthly thing, man, where you guys get to support what we're doing. And if we're affecting you, a lot of people are saying that this is like their new church. This is how they connect with God or connect with each other. I think it's freaking beautiful. But if it is something, we'd love for you to consider, being a part of our family. It's getting good too. I'm really enjoying.
It really is a nice community,
right?
That we have there.
I feel legitimately like they're real family, and I adore you guys, and I love even more that they're becoming family with each other. And a lot of them are going to see each other when we do our first live episode in October 15th, which I think this will be out before then. And October 15th, we're going to be in San Diego. Last tickets go on sale. We're going to end it at October 1st. So if it's past October 1st and you're hearing this, you missed out. But hopefully we'll see. They're all going to meet each other, and I think it's going to be freaking amazing. But shout out to Patreon. We love you guys. You're amazing. The link is in the description. And today we're going to be talking about contentment. Does balance bring contentment, and how important it is to have a balanced life? We always get this question. I always think it's like I don't know. I think it's a novice question, but I guess it's not. Like, how do you guys keep it balanced? How do you guys stay balanced when you're in your vocation and your whatever? But I guess it's something that's important that people struggle with, to be balanced in life. Like, how do you achieve a balanced life?
Well, and I think too, on the outside looking in, especially for you guys, I think, you guys are both really successful at what you do. And then when you see your guys' post, you guys come across like you're really happy. Yeah. And I think a lot of people say they are experiencing success in their job or their profession, but once they get out of that, or even once they're in that, they're not really happy. And so you guys feel like you have a really great balance of, like, you're able to go and be great at what you do, but then you guys can also be really great together. And there's just happy and joy and just a great energy around you guys, which is true. Because that's like what you guys put out on social media, you guys are like in real life. So
I was about to say, we're pretty real. Like, if we're not feeling happy, we ain't posting happy things. If we ain't with it, we ain't posting it.
I remember if I would ever cry on Instagram, Manny would give me, babe, don't cry on Instagram.
What? If you would ever cry on Instagram, what?
You'd be like, oh, man.
I don't understand what you're talking about right now.
Like, if I was on Instagram stories and I was emotional, you'd be like,
why would I do that?
Together.
Balance. Here's the thing about balance. I thought I was balanced for a long time. Turns out I was not. And then I went on sabbatical. I think you come in and out of balance, and you can have balance in different aspects of your life, your relationship, your work, your marriage, your friendship, all the things, your health.
Wait, before you go on, define balance for yourself, so that way they know the starting point of what you're talking about. Like, what do you think it means to live a balanced life?
I don't know how to define, because it's all encompassing of everything. It's to not be too much of this, too much of that, right? And
well, for you
to
specifically,
be centered, to be grounded. To have balance means to be grounded. So I feel like I've wondered myself, looking at other people, how they stay balanced, like a Kevin Hart or Steve Harvey. I look at different actors or, you know, celebrity figures, and I wonder, how do they balance like married life, kids, their multiple businesses that they have? Like, how do they balance it? And maybe they do, and maybe they don't. Maybe they have a terrible relationship with balance in their life, and they just overwork and rarely see their kids or rarely see their wife or whatever it is. I remember on our wedding day, one of my cousins came up to me, and she's real prophetic. Like, her and her sister both are like uberly, like, read people's mail, you know? And I remember she came up to me at the wedding, and she goes, the key for you in your marriage is going to be balance. And I just see you on a surfboard in the ocean trying to keep your balance. And balance is going to be key for you. And at the time, I'm like, cool, thank you. That's such a general word. Thank you so much for balance. And then every now and then, when I feel off balance, either in our marriage where I'm working too much, or one of us needs from the other, or whatever it is, or in my friendships, if any of my friends voice that I haven't checked in with them in a long time, or even in my career, if I'm feeling overworked or whatever it is, I always think about her coming up to me at the table being like, balance. That's going to be key for you.
See, so you're kind of answering the question, because you didn't answer it when I said, like, what is balance to you? So
I
you're
said I'm grounded.
I know, but grounded is so not like, what does that mean to anyone? Like, it can mean anything. But right now you're listing specific things that make you feel like you're out of balance. So you just said, when I don't check in with my friends enough, when I'm overworked, when I'm...
Well, that's because I was going to get to it all, because that's why I said it's all encompassing, because there's so many different ways that you can be balanced or not balanced in marriage, in health, in all kinds of things. And sometimes I'm getting there, but sometimes there's balance in health. Sometimes I'm working out all the time and making healthy choices, and other times I'm not. And then I feel it. And then when I'm not working out, then usually my room is also a mess, and that's not balanced either.
So let's hit those three. I feel like those are the three most important. Balance in work. What does it mean to be balanced in work? What does it mean to be balanced relationally with the person that you love? And then what does it mean to be balanced in health? Because I feel like those are the
mental, emotional, spiritual, all those things within your own health.
Yeah. And even specifically physical, because physical, when you say stuff like, this is something that people always say when it comes to how they eat. Like, I want to eat good, but at the same time, I got to enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that,
balance.
Physical. So emotional meaning with your relationships, and then with your job or your vocation or your calling or whatever, which I think very much so is a spiritual thing. Like, whenever you find your calling, whatever you find what you're supposed to do, it very much is a spiritual, like, awakening. Whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, you feel this sense of purpose that pushes you to continue to do what you're doing because you're good at it, and the effects of it are changing the world around you. So it's almost, if it's not a spiritual experience to you, it definitely is in the people that are around you who are eating off of your creativity, your know-how, your knowledge. So what does it mean to be balanced? How do you stay balanced when it comes to work and vocation to each one of us, like, specifically, not in the ethereal?
How do you stay balanced in work? Let's do work first.
Vocation, work, yeah.
One, you set boundaries for yourself, and then you stick to your boundaries. And usually you don't realize that you've stepped out of balance until you're already out of balance. And then it's about realigning. So balance is not something for you to give yourself a guilt trip about and get hard on yourself about. Balance is something for you to reconnect with, realign with. It gives you like a map. Okay, so balance of like work for me in my work. I can do a weekend where I have 6 shows, and they go, "You're sold out. You want to add another one? Sure, let's do another one. You're sold out. Want to add another one? Sure, let's do another one. Now I know if I add one more, I'm going to have money in my bank account, but I'll have nothing in my physical account when I get home from my husband. He will have nothing left. I will have nothing left to give him, to give other parts of my career, my book deadlines, my social media, anything else in my career. So I can take that other show and get that paycheck, secure the bag, or I can secure my health, my mental health, my physical health, and have something to give to the rest of the things that require of me. So whatever that looks like for your work, for your job, having an awareness of what depletes you, where your boundaries are.
Your limits.
Your limits, thank you. What are your limits? Having awareness of what that is, and then making healthy choices to honor your body, honor your energy, honor your marriage, honor your other aspects of your life that need from you. So know your limits. That's a tool for maintaining balance, or if not maintaining, but realigning with balance when you step out.
That's good.
What about you, B? Do you know yours? How you stay balanced?
I mean, I know my limits with work and stuff, but I'd say one of the other things that kind of keeps me balanced with work is understanding my short-term and long-term goals and having a plan. So sometimes understanding like, hey, I'm gonna have to take a couple sacrifices here in the short term, understanding the big picture, but then also understanding, oh, there's might be short-term opportunities, but this doesn't fit my long-term picture.
Yeah.
So understanding what those goals are for me, it kind of keeps me in alignment with what I'm trying to do, and it keeps me balanced, because if I didn't have any of that, I'm just going to take whatever it is and I'm just going to be completely overextended.
Yeah.
So understanding, hey, what relationships am I building here? What connections am I building? What are these connections ultimately building to? What are some other people that I could bring into what I'm doing to continually make this thing bigger and to continually make this thing evolve? So for me, that's something, because I was going hard in 2020, like COVID, it was really tough for a lot of people. And for my own personal business, it was booming. I ended up getting to the point where I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. And because I knew ultimately what I'm going towards, I could kind of extend myself a little bit more because it was feeding to the big picture. So that's like one thing for me, at least. I understand my short term and my long term.
Yeah, that's important, definitely, because there are some times where you're gonna have to grind hard in order to get that time where you can grind less. You know, for me, balance looks like I don't really do things half-assed. Like I'm 100% all in. But when I used to do that, I would do it all day. So this is very practical for me. We talked about in another episode where I'm usually up really early and working while everybody's sleeping. So the way I'm able to go so hard, and this is what balance means to me, is I'll wake up hella early and I will go ham. I will go ham for the first half of the day. And then no matter what, at 12 o'clock to like 2 o'clock, I shut down. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. And of course, this is me because we work for ourselves. So we have the ability to
siesta.
Yeah, we have the ability to dictate our schedule, but apply this to yourself. So I go ham for whenever it is that I told myself I'm going to work. So it's usually between 5 a.m. to like 12 or 2. And I will go ham and I will set daily goals. I don't set a ton of goals. To me, it's like, get one thing done, Manny. Consistently do one thing every day and see how much you will accomplish. As opposed to before, when it would be like, damn, I got 5 things I got to do today. And it's not that they're all due tomorrow. It's just that I want to get them all done. I got to get them all done. So I put this stress on myself. I put this stress on my body. And I try to get all these things done. And I do all of them like half-assed. I just try to get them done. Whereas now I'm just like, Manny, one thing. One thing a day. If it's right and mix that one song, I'm only focusing on that one song. And I'm going to get a mix done. By the time 12 or 2 hits, I'm out. I listen back, I make notes, and then I have something that I got to do tomorrow. I wake up in the morning and I'm gonna do it tomorrow. But I don't pack my days in anymore. And then when I'm done working, I do something that makes me happy. no matter what. And this is something that my brother told me a long time ago. Every day, do one thing, for yourself that makes you happy. Whether it's get your favorite smoothie, if it's a movie, watch a movie, if it's take a walk or jog, whatever it is that you know makes you happy, one thing a day, do for yourself. So for me, I'll check out at 12 or 2. I will sit on that couch and I will watch movies till I freaking fall asleep, not feeling 1 ounce of bad.
Which is 15 minutes.
I don't feel bad because I'm like, I grinded so hard today. I got so much accomplished. Yeah, I'm going to act like a lazy bum, fully feeling okay because I know I did what I needed to do today. And then it's kind of like what Mike always tells me, when you come back into the gym, don't go ham the first day. Work out 15 minutes so that you can come back tomorrow and work out 15 minutes. And then the next day you can come back and work out for 20 minutes because you're not going to be so sore. You're not going to be hurting. Most people go ham the first time they're back and they ain't been back in a long time. And then they're out for like 4 days. But look who worked out the most. The person that went consistently and did a little bit every day, they end up putting in more time in the gym than the person who goes ham, hurts themselves, or is too sore to go back. So that's kind of like how I keep balance in my life vocationally. But you said something interesting that triggered me when it comes to emotionally. And this is something, how do you stay balanced when it comes to relationships? Because this is the second thing. Relationships, love, whether it's friendships or love relationships. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to friendships, I used to be somebody that, I don't know if you're like this, but I was a people pleaser. Like I knew a lot of people. I liked to be a social butterfly, and I had a lot of quote unquote friends, right? So I was always trying to be.
How many of us have them?
Yeah, I was trying to be everything to everyone. No matter whether they deserved it or not, it was just because that's the type of person I was. Mm-hmm. So I would find myself overextending myself, trying to be the best friend to everyone because there was something amazing or a good feeling about me being the person for someone else. It made me feel good about myself. I'm their person. Like if they need something, they're going to holler at me. But it wasn't the same. If I needed something, I could holler at them. And so I started realizing I'm overextending myself for a lot of people that do, when it comes to value, this is not a good investment. I am not seeing my ROI. Like I'm not seeing my return on investment at all. And the day I got balanced emotionally is when I started cutting people out of my life to which my investments were not seeing the returns that I needed to see in order to continue to invest in that product, in that relationship. A lot of you feel, you may feel imbalanced in life emotionally and you feel tired or worn down because you have a lot of people in your life that draw energy from you, that draw expectation from you that you cannot depend on them in the same manner. So you are a one-way faucet. You're giving out, and you are not getting anything back. Those people need to be cut out of your life, and you will quickly see how balanced you are, even if you only got like 2 friends, 2 ride or dies. But it's a circular relationship to where they're feeding you. You can call on them. You don't got to feel weird. You don't got to, you know what I'm saying? And then they can call on you. And the chance that you get to be there for a perfect example. When it comes to B and Maddie, me and Ange love them and we try our best to be there for them, to give them whatever they need. If they're in need, we are there. This year we ended up being in need. We have no house to live in. We had nowhere to stay. And B and Maddie were like, you can stay with us. Mind you, I'm always like, oh my God, I don't want to bother. I don't want to whatever. But when him and Maddie was like, the fact that we finally get to give something to y'all, the fact that we finally get to do something for y'all makes us so happy. And it really made me feel like a weight off of my shoulders. Like I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. This feels right. This doesn't feel like I'm a burden. Because I'm the kind of guy that'll go overboard and I'll be like, all right, do I need to pay you? How much do I need to pay you a day so that I don't have to feel bad? Or this shit's not going to end up getting thrown in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of person.
I was texting Maddie like, is Manny too loud? Do I need to tell him to be quiet?
No, Manny is up at like 5:30, but he's quiet. I can't hear him.
But that is something that I feel. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like that's
Yeah, no, I mean, in the words of Pastor Aubrey Graham, aka Drake, he's got this new album out, Certified Lover Boy, but he's got this song called Fair Trade. And he has this one line in the hook, and he says, I've been losing friends and finding peace, but honestly, that sounds like a fair trade to me.
Ooh, Pastor Drake, let's
And I
go.
was like, yo, that is so true, because I can attest to that in my own life too, is what you were saying, Manny. In a lot of ways, the amount of friends that I have has gone down in number, but the the connections has gone up within that number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's a lot less things that I have to keep, like, stay on top of, you know what I'm saying? At the same time too, because that could get really draining, and especially trying to balance so many of those things that aren't life-giving. You're constantly giving and giving and giving, but your cup is never being full. And when it becomes that circular thing, it's like, you know, like last week I had a moment on vacation. We were eating at this restaurant right there in Tulum called Torah, and it was such an amazing night. Like, my heart was
so fun.
My heart was so happy in that moment. And it was interesting because Ange was asking everybody, and like, it was like this really cool moment. She's looking everybody in the eye and she's like, hey, are you happy? And I was like, yeah, I'm happy. But there was like an actual deep happiness inside my heart, because I'm thinking, man, this is such a cool moment that I get to spend with these people. And the interesting thing about that was, like, it was something we were all bringing to the table. Like, it wasn't just like one person, like, I'm making everybody happy right now, but it was like this whole mutual thing amongst these 6 people. And the interesting thing about happiness is, like, it's one of those things, when your cup is overflowing with happiness, you can't, like, store that within yourself anymore.
Right.
Just continually give that. And I think that's the case with so many other things. Like, when your cup is being full and you're overflowing with that, it should be feeding and filling other people, and it should be this continuous thing. And that is, like, that's beautiful, and that's what it's about. So to me, I'm like, I want those kind of friendships in my life where we're constantly keeping each other's cups full in that sense, overflowing, and then it just makes everything that much better, you know?
Yeah.
Amen.
And that should extend to relationships, because now we're talking about friendships, but even relationships.
Wait, but I had some.
Okay, go, baby. Go, queen.
Can I say something?
Yeah, you can say something. I'm sorry, my lover.
I also thought of songs that went with what you were saying about how you were, like, too loyal to people who weren't loyal back. First song I thought of is in regards to how you are or were in your friendships is you were Captain Save-A-Ho.
What song is that? I don't know that song.
Captain Save-A-Ho, man. You're not from the Bay. You don't know. You were Captain Save-A-Ho. And then the other song I thought of was These Hoes Ain't Loyal.
Yeah, it's with Chris Brown.
Yeah. Captain Save-A-Ho and These Hoes Ain't Loyal.
Yes. My circle got smaller.
What that reminded me of.
For sure. But when it comes to actual relationships, the way you can tell when a relationship is throwing your life out of balance is when you're constantly reminded of the things that you aren't doing for them.
Ooh.
You feel me? People like to remind you where you're falling short. And listen to what I'm saying. That doesn't mean that there can't be a grown-up conversation if you are genuinely falling short and they need to communicate to you, hey, you know, we ain't chilled in like 3 weeks and you ain't calling me, like, what the hell? Like, that's different than you constantly doing and giving and being there, and that person, it doesn't register. They're in constant need of you to continue to be and do, and you start feeling like, oh my God, this person is a freaking black hole. Like, it's never enough. Everything that I do is that when you start feeling like you're never enough, your life will get thrown out of balance, because then you're going to overextend yourself. You're going to try harder than you should to satisfy somebody that is unquenchable. And I speak to so many people and give so many people advice on that. Like, and they're doing it out of love. You know, they obviously think that if they keep trying and keep whatever, that it's love. They're just showing up. And I'm in the background like, oh my God, this is going to end badly. This is like a slow motion crash. They're actually thinking that they're doing something for this person. None of it's going to be enough. At the end of it, you will end up debased and empty, and that person is still going to be crying for more. You will be bleeding on the ground, taking your last breath in this relationship, and they're going to be like, more. I need more. Why didn't you give me more? That's when you know you're in a relationship that's doomed. And I don't like being negative about relationships, but I'm a very
You are doomed.
I'm not a
Run.
bullshitter. Like, I don't want to bullshit anyone. If you are in that relationship and they're asking for so much without any recollection of what's already been given, you are giving to a black hole. And it's never going to be enough. And you know what you should do? You should run. I said that last time. That's going to be my thing.
So far away.
Ready, set, run.
Run. That's what you're going to need to do. Does anyone else have anything to say about that?
Another thing about that is any relationship or friendship that causes you to lose sight of your purpose.
Yes.
That's like, that should be an automatic thing. Like, it's funny because we have such a savior complex within us sometimes, especially when you're a believer, I feel like, and you're trying to evangelize everything around you. It's like you try and go to these extreme depths to like save these people who don't need you to save them.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is you end up losing your way.
Yeah.
And when you lose your way, it's obviously you're missing out on what you're supposed to do. And so those relationships, to me, I'm like, yeah, you don't need me. And I definitely don't need you. I'm going to like lose sight. You're going to serve as a distraction to me rather than something that's building towards my purpose. Yes. And I want relationships and friendships in my life that are continually going to push me into my destiny and what I'm supposed to do, not pull me from that and cause me to constantly take steps back whenever we engage with each other.
Yes, your life. Yeah, that's insecurity, man. If you're with somebody that is pulling you from your purpose because they need you to be there for their purpose, run. I need to get a freaking button that's like run.
Yeah,
I need to get. You need to run. I'm telling you, don't freaking waste time. I hate it when people lose their life because you'll end up like, I have friends right now that I'm talking to that they're like, another failed marriage, another failed whatever, and they spend so much of their time giving to an empty person, like a person with a hole at the bottom of their cup, and they're trying to figure out what went wrong. And I'm like, my God, you just didn't want to see it. Like, you stayed when you should have ran. Like, you actually think. And the reason I'm so adamant about it is because I used to do it. I used to be that person that thought that my love was enough to cover up the little hole that's in their heart. And if I love them the right way, if I say the right thing, then they're gonna be okay. But they're not, and they won't be, and they never were. And it wasn't until I left, and years later, I still, there's very few of my exes that are successfully in a relationship right now. Which is nothing to say bad about them, because they're all amazing people, which is why I dated them. I believe in them. I think they're amazing, but we can take ourselves out of success easily by letting our insecurities get the best of us. So, anything else on actual relationship, friendship, when it comes to balance? If not, we're going to move to point number 3.
I would say in your relationship and your friendship, check in with your friend or your partner and check in. Hey, is there anything I can do to fill your cup today? Maybe try that. Call one of your girlfriends that you haven't talked to in a while, who's busy with her kids and who on Instagram looks like she's having the best time of her life. Give her.
Are you talking to maintain balance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To maintain balance. Call that homegirl. Say, hey, how are you? And she's like, good, how are you? And then ask her, is there anything I can do to fill up your cup today? I think that will really disrupt the pattern of, good, how are you? Good, it's great, yeah. And that will really pause them to think and reflect and be like, okay, yeah, what do I need? Oh my God. Maybe just listen to me. Maybe just honestly, you even just asking is helpful. Thank you. Try that.
And I'm assuming you're saying to somebody who you want to stay in your life. I'm trying to follow that.
Yeah, that's to maintain a healthy balance in your friendships and even your relationships.
If you're the person that's out of balance because you're not there for them.
That's just a way to maintain. So you don't have to feel like you're not balanced with your friend. I can call any of my friends right now and just say that to them.
Mm-hmm.
Even my friend who I just talked to, I can call Jessie Latoria. I just talked to her yesterday. And I can call her and say, hey, what can I do to fill up your cup?
Mm-hmm.
And that just is more coins in our friendship balance account.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of friends right now that I should call and do that too. Penelope. I haven't talked to Penelope in a long time. Maya. I haven't talked to Maya in a long time.
Yeah. Agreed. Third thing, physical health. How to balance physical. This is something tough because I'll have weeks of like awesomeness. Like recently I just kind of came off of keto and I don't feel as tight as I felt when I was on keto. And I'm like, shit. Like I always feel like I try so hard and I don't make it there. And it really does affect my life. Like we can't act like health. And when I mean health, I mean like physical health does not affect the way we do life. We do love. We do everything. It is a big proponent on how we feel about ourselves. So for me, the way that I have been able to balance my physical health is trying my best to do everything. And when I say trying my best, I pretty much am effectively trying my best to do everything that is a healthy choice for me, and then learning how to cheat responsibly.
Yeah.
That's me. So right now I found these keto ice cream bars.
Hey.
That are like 130 calories, only 2 net carbs, and they don't use real sugar. Now, do you have to get used to the consistency a little bit? Sure. But it is more than enough to quench my sweet tooth. And so I found a way to stay on my diet, because they'll always tell you that. Like if you try to diet, like it's hard. Like to me, it's finding a way to do life and still be able to enjoy it. Like if I'm out with friends, I'm not going to not eat because they don't have the right whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel it's important to also analyze yourself and prioritize your health more so than your looks. Because you ain't ever going to catch me on Instagram being a freaking fitness model. So there's no need for me to slave in order to have 8-pack abs. It's just not necessary. At this point in my life, I'm 41? I'm 41 years old, right? 41? Yeah. I'm 41 years old and I can still wear close to the same size I was in high school. I'm still 30.
No,
30,
you were skinny.
Yeah, high school I was
you got a little bit
32.
bigger, but healthy bigger, like good.
Now I'm a 34. I feel good about that. Yeah. I always look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you look good for 41, bro.
Yeah, bro. You look good, bro. Yeah. I would say for healthy balance in your health, body and mind and spirit, like all that health, which you actually kind of remind me of this. I would say goals and grace, because my husband is not kind to himself and he needs to be. And I tell him that all the time.
What you mean?
Every single day, if he's like on a goal, he'll be like,
grab my stomach. I always grab my stomach. Yeah.
Every day. That is not healthy. That is not loving yourself.
But babe,
that is not healthy motivation.
But babe, I am frustrated with myself because I know that I make certain choices to have this belly. And that's called being mature. Like, it's like, if I really wanted to not have this belly, I know what I have to do, but I'm not doing it. So I'm more mad at myself for not doing what I have to do. And then at the same time, recognizing.
Then just accept it and stop talking bad about yourself. Stop going, ugh.
What do I say about myself?
Well, just, oh God. Like, that's not nice to yourself.
We all do it when we have pants that are too tight.
Not every day.
I feel you.
So I'm telling you, goals and grace. Have goals for yourself, you guys. And like Manny said, it doesn't have to necessarily be about looks, but if you want it to be about looks, that's fine. If you want the ab, you want the ab. Go for the ab. But have a goal. For me lately, my goal has just been to move my body every day. And I've been doing my yoga stretches, my chiropractic stretches. I've been doing dance movement stretches, not necessarily like a hard workout, but that's not a part of my goal. My goal right now is to just move my body every day. So that has been my goal. And then have grace for yourself when you don't hit your goal, or when your goal is still 100 feet away. Have grace for yourself in that 100 feet. Don't beat yourself up in that last 100 feet getting to your goal. Like, that's not nice to yourself. What kind of motivation is that? Like, be kind to yourself. Love on yourself. Oh my gosh, you're almost there. You're not where you want to be, but you're almost there, girl. Yes, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of yourself. You've been moving your body. Yeah, you didn't sweat today, but that's okay. Why you need to sweat? You moved. I'm proud of you. Like, whatever self-affirmation you have to do, I would say goals and grace.
Good.
It also is important to, just really quick caveat, to make sure you understand what kind of person you are. Because a lot of people will give themselves grace, but not like the real kind of grace. It's more like an excuse. So if you know that about yourself, goals and grace is not the way to go. It's more so 10 Commandments. It's the law.
To the plan. Stick to the plan.
You know, if you give yourself grace, before you know it, you're going to be freaking skinny dipping in jelly beans.
Gonna be big sore.
Yeah. Go, B.
For me, it's interesting because right now, for the last, it's now well over a month, I haven't been able to work out. And like, physical health is everything to me. Like, I'm on my feet all the time. I'm working out all the time. And so usually I err on the side of going too hard than having the balance to be like, yeah, I should just take today off. So this injury has literally kept my left leg straight for the last 7 weeks of my life, right? Going on 8. I start physical therapy next week.
Shoot, it's already been 7 weeks?
Yeah, from my injury.
Oh my God.
So I've spent well over a month of my life not being able, zero cardio.
Wow.
And this is where my habit of healthy eating has saved me, because even though I'm not working out, like, I've lost a good amount of muscle, but I don't have a gut or a belly. I still have my abs.
Hey, come through.
And shout out abs. But for me right now, the big thing is, like, it's funny because I'm such a goal-oriented person that right now it's like I can't focus on the goals because it'll take me out of being where I'm at now and accepting where I'm at now.
Right.
The thing that I've had to focus on is like process or routine. So right now it's like I can't be really results oriented. Like, I just have to focus on what's the thing that I got to do, and the results will come. Like, if I focus right now on, like, I got to be able to run in 4 months or whatever again, like, that's super discourage,ing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I get really down on myself and get all sad about it. But if I'm like, hey, I can bend my knee, hopefully next week, you know, if I stick to this process and do these exercises every week, every day, I can bend my knee a little bit here. And the results are going to come. But if I focus, because I focus on the process or the routine,
Right.
I just try and make that routine or that process better instead of being so results oriented, because that's the funny thing about working out is results come at the place that you don't want them to come. Like, there's this point where you're sticking to this process or routine or whatever. You're not seeing results. You get discouraged. And that's where a lot of people they're like, it's not working.
Right.
Not working.
Right.
I'm out. And then it's usually like another week or two after that point, then all of a sudden you just catch this momentum and you start seeing all of it happen. So I feel like so many people get discouraged because they're so results oriented. I'm like, just make your process better by 1% every day.
Yeah.
And if you do that in a month or two, in 3 months, in 6 months, you're going to see a huge difference, and you're going to get what you wanted because you focused on the little thing.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
for me, that's a big thing. And then the other thing that really helps me and keeps my balance health-wise is I have this band. I'm not wearing it right now because I haven't been moving. But it's called Whoop. So it's like a fitness band, but it tracks my sleep. And so this has brought so much balance in my physical life because it lets me know when my body is prime and rested enough to go really hard. So there's days where, you know, hey, I didn't get good sleep at all. It would actually be like more beneficial for you to take that day off. get a little bit of movement instead of going hard, because your body is not able to take on that load. So it really has focused me to work on getting good sleep and understanding that that's the actual key to being able to unlock like greater results in my body if I want to work out and stuff. So it keeps track of that for me. So taking your sleep serious is one of the best things that you could do for your body.
Oh, I need to do, babe.
Don't even. I been telling. I told him the other day to get on that sleep program, the one that you have, and his other friend Josh has it as well.
Josh has a ring though.
Oh yeah, the ring works as well. The Aura ring. There's been a lot of people I've seen using that recently, but that's the thing. It's like so many people. I tell my high school kids all the time this. I'm like, you guys keep asking me for results. One of the best things that you could do is get 8 hours of sleep.
But yeah, I don't know how to get 8 hours of sleep.
And I've
tried everything.
You watch a sleep master class. Get on one.
Why you act like watching?
Get on one of these programs that Brandon does or Josh does. I told him just like 2 days ago. I was like, babe, you should get on that program. And he's like, what program? It's not a program. It just tracks your sleep. And I'm like, yeah, but then it also has like boundaries for you too, like no devices after a certain hour or whatever, so you can try to get better sleep.
But does Whoop really give you all that?
It does. They have like these like podcasts and interviews of like different experts in the different subjects of like working out, increasing your heart health, cardiovascular health, all these things, and they give you access to it. So it's pretty cool.
I do the workout thing. I just can't get a full 8 hours if I tried. But don't they say that the older you get, you don't need the 8 hours?
Yeah, but you're not that old.
I shoot for 8. But like, you know, sometimes it might come across like 6:45 or 7.
They said it's more important to hit your body goes through stages, right? It's like if you is it every 3 hours or
three different things of Earth? Is it 4? I know there's REM.
I thought it was 3.
It's 3. You're right.
But it's like you have cycles. Like if you and your body's in 3-hour cycles. That even if you slept in those cycles, that don't interrupt those cycles, and you'll be more like rested.
In some situations, it'd be better to sleep 4 hours than the 6 or something like
based
that.
on your cycle.
Yeah.
I need to look it up. I'm down to try it, but these are this is a way to stay balanced in your life, which requires freaking effort. Sometimes monetarily, because Whoop is something that you have to pay monthly, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's also apps on your iPhone that you can download that track your sleep.
They're just not as good.
Yeah, they're just not as accurate. Because the thing that makes it the most accurate is it understanding your resting heart rate and your heart rate variability.
Right.
Because they can tell you when your heart rate has hit a certain low. Oh, you've entered this part of sleep and stuff like that. But I've also noticed within myself, when I really prioritize me getting good sleep, it brings balance to every other aspect of who I am, health-wise.
Sheesh. That's probably why I'm not losing my gut.
Emotional, mental, even spiritual, right? Like getting rest is a spiritual thing. Like when the prophet Elijah was depressed, God was like, go take a nap and have a meal. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something so powerful in that, because he'd been going so hard, he'd been running, all these sorts of things, and God knew the balance or the reset for him was to get good sleep.
Which one do you think is better, the Aura or the band? I feel like
I prefer the band because I don't know, I like my regular wedding band, and I just don't want like a sporty ring on my, I don't know.
I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna do it, because if I have to wear the band, that means I got to take off my watch, which I worked too hard to get, or
bench pressing is Rolly. What you talking
like,
about?
I'm not trying to take off a Rolly for the freaking whatever. I think the ring will be better because at least there's options, right? There's different metals you can get, and you can kind of work it into your. Yeah,
I think whatever was going to work for you to help kind of it, because it also is a little bit of an accountability thing too.
Does it have hoop earrings? Just kidding.
Hey, dude. We're on to something there. That would be amazing.
Hoop earrings, babe.
Sleep tracking hoop earrings.
Can you imagine sleeping in your hoops? You know?
All this is all important. Look, so you got vocation, you got relationships, and then you got physical health. All of them tie into one another, and I feel like all of them are important in order to engage a true balanced life. So you ask us how we do it. We gave you some specific examples, and we do feel when it comes to being balanced, I think A balanced life is one in which that you are truly content because you change the things that you can and you don't stress about the things that you cannot. That to me is what a balanced life is. There are so many things that I cannot change in this life. And the more that I think I can or try to change them, the more I feel like I throw my life out of balance. And then the things that I can change, I take the approach of it's gonna change and I'm gonna do it immediately. Whenever I acknowledge that there's something that's gonna make me better as a man, as a man of God, as a husband, as a person, then I attack them with relentless energy. Like I go ham. I don't give myself excuses. I don't give myself anything. I just go hard. And then everything else that I can't change, it's like I have to let it go. I have to learn to do it. Like I put a lot of work, for those of y'all who follow us on social media. I put a lot of work into my first flip. Went mad hard every day. You could ask B because I was living with them every day for like 3 weeks. I woke up, went over there, did the gym, went over there with gym, went over there, gym, went over there every freaking day, every day. I put my best foot forward. It's a beautiful house. There's no one who's seen the house that hasn't thought this freaking thing is amazing, but it still hasn't sold yet, right? So I am not losing sleep on it not selling because I know the part that I could control was me doing the work. And I did it to the best of my ability. Before I bought the house, I got all the advice. I got everything I needed to do before jumping into that big of a commitment. So I did the work up front. Now I can't control if anybody buys it or not. I mean, I guess to a degree, if I dropped it to some absurd price, I guess I could sell it, but that's not what you do in real estate. No. You can't get anybody to pay for what it's worth. You can't force people to buy it. You can't do any of that thing. So I let it go and I continue in my life. And I'm like, you know what, Jesus, if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, we got a place to stay for the next 6 months. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over this. I'm going to control what I can and not stress about what I cannot control. And in doing so, I feel like I'm allowing myself to ebb and flow with the river of life, because I don't have answers for why it hasn't sold. And I don't have answers for a lot of things that haven't gone my way, but I just keep flowing with life and I do what I can, change what I can, and everything else, I just let it do what it do. And I would consider myself right now at this point in my life the happiest I've ever been.
Aww.
Even in our little 1,200 square foot house.
That's nice.
I think our house is the same size as your apartment, B. Same size. This little house.
We got a lot of grass.
But you know what I woke up this morning saying? I was like, Jesus, thank you that this water works. Thank you that the fridge works. Thank you that my AC is working. Mm-hmm. Thank you that we get to retreat into this back little studio and shoot podcasts and me mix music and Ange do her workout. Like, thank you for all these little things that is like, I'm just thank you. Thank you.
Dude, I had a moment like that. I woke up middle of the night. It was probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 a.m. And like this season has been, actually this year, it's been much harder for me to be grateful. Just because it's felt like so many things have gone wrong. And then more recently being in my predicament that I'm in. And I remember I was laying in bed and I just started thanking Jesus for everything that's going on in my life. I'm like, man, I'm thankful that my leg is getting better. Like, I'm thankful that I still have a leg. Like, I'm thankful that I haven't been able to work a whole month and financially we're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thankful, God, that we have each other. I'm thankful Maddie got home safe from Mexico, that we don't have COVID right now. Like, there's so many things for me to be grateful. It's funny because I think one of the things that I realized in being content was before I learned how to be content, and I mean, it's still obviously a challenge, not to say I've arrived, but one of the things was I used to have all these kind of like contingencies. Like, if I make this amount of money, I'll be happy and I'll feel good at where I'm at in life. Like in my work, if I hit this goal, whatever, I'll be good. If my body looks like this, I think I'll be happy then. There's like all these well-being contingencies we all have so many times, and they're just like, you should throw them away.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't need that to be grateful, and you don't need that to be content. Like there's so much good in your life right now if you're looking for that, even if you feel like you're not in a very good place. And so for me, it was that moment last night where I was like, I'm not entirely like okay with where I'm at, but there's so much for me to be grateful for right now.
Yeah. And you have to understand that you can set goals, but I promise you the type of person it takes to actually achieve those goals, if you become that person that's goal oriented, what you have to continually reach and achieve goals is a work ethic that by default subconsciously makes you something that always looks for the next thing.
Right.
People who set goals and always hit them are people who are relentless and always setting goals. So the only thing that you can be sure of is that you're going to set another goal once you reach your goal. So it's not going to ever make you happy. Like I used to think it was touring. I used to think it was getting signed to a label. Then I used to think, oh, if I do a tour, if I do shows, if I get awards, if I get this, and then I got all those things, and it was like, oh, what's next? And I hear this from people with the most money to people with no money. Like they'll just set goals and they never stop. They never stop. Like my friend was like, you know, she was an assistant to a very big singer, massive singer. We all love her. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to put her business out, but she was like, man, when this singer would hear that another younger singer or another singer that's in her realm would put out a song and it would hit, she would rush to get into the studio to go and try to make her own hit. Like she was so like needed to stay firmly in the mix, in the conversation, that whenever somebody put something out, she rushed to the studio because she had to put something out so that way her name wouldn't get lost in the shuffle. Yeah. Mind you, this person is worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. At this point, everything that she does is just for fun. It's not because she needs it. Mm-hmm. And my friend was telling me, she was like, it's sad. Because I look at her on the outside and you're all thinking, wow, what a boss bitch. What a, you know, all those things that we say when they give you that aura. And then somebody who's with her day in and day out is like this. She's so insecure that if somebody puts out a hit, she has to put one out too, for fear of not being relevant anymore. Yeah. So it's like money ain't going to do it. Like a better situation, it really won't do it. And I don't want to be insensitive to say that for people who don't have money, because even Drake said this before when it comes to like having money. Was it? No, it was. I think it was Kanye. It was Kanye. Sorry for mixing up the two pastors. But what was Good Life, where he says having money's not everything, but not having it is. And I was like, ooh, you've heard people say like, I'd rather be sad, rich than happy, broke. People, I've heard people say that because at least they can do anything they want when they're rich, but when they're broke, you're limited, right? If you had the options. But I do understand that having more does not equal happiness or contentment. And even Paul says it, like learn to be content with little, with much. He's learned to be content with much and with little. And I think that is really the magical thing. Like when he says maturity comes with simplicity, or simplicity comes with maturity. The more mature you get, the older you get, the more you recognize, oh, there's few things that are actually going to make me happy in life. And to me, I've recognized that it's real friendships, traveling.
Me.
Yeah. Real friendships, a real relationship, like an actual thing. It's real in your life. That's what you are, baby. You're a relationship. Real friendships, traveling, experiencing the world, and experiencing other people. That's what's going to make me happy. I know that it'll make me happy. Everything else wears off, even my cars. Even though my cars make me happy, but it'll wear off. So people are your greatest resource. Anyway, all that to say, hopefully you guys have been blessed, are into understanding what contentment really means. Balance and contentment. I want to read something because I think this is always so much fun. Positive reviews from our page.
Hey, let's go.
I haven't read this one. Review. Found this podcast through
Facebook.
Facebook by Christine C74. What? I'm assuming that's what she's saying because she said what, comma. So I'm assuming it's what. I found this podcast through Facebook and saw Angela in the pic, and I was like, what's this all about? My husband and I have been a fan of your comedy for years. Thank you for always being real and making us laugh. I just listened to one of the podcasts and loved it. What's not to love? You guys have great chemistry at the round table. We need more people right now speaking about Jesus and showing non-believers who Jesus is. If not, then when? If not now, then when? Thank you! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Thank you, Christine74. We are so grateful that you would leave a review. Guys, if you're listening, go shoot on over to freaking Apple.
The iTunes store.
The iTunes store and write a review and we'll read it. I'm trying to remember to read it after every episode and give you a shout out, put your name, write a review. It actually helps algorithmically to get us better placement with iTunes. So if you're listening, go to iTunes, write a review, especially if it's a positive one. If it's a negative one, you can write it too, and I'll read it out, but I may clown your ass. So whatever, it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to be the butt of a joke or you want to be the bum. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patreon. Again, if you guys want to check out our Patreon, it's in the description. You get extra content. Actually, this season, we're doing an extra episode only for Patreon members. That's right. I decided to add an extra episode for every season, strictly just for the Patreon members.
That's right.
So just for that, guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, dang, the bottom of the barrel to get in is $2. Even though that's the least amount of people that are at the $2 level. Most people are at the 12 and 25. So thank you for that. We love you guys so much, and we like to say, we pray you find a seat at the table. But if you don't, you are always welcome at ours. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.
Recording